One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Demonic machines. Demonic machine. No, machines. Demonic machines. Demonic machines. Live. Playing in a loop. There's Deuce. All right. So today is the collaboration episode. Can anyone hear me? Is there anyone even watching? Can people hear me? Should I turn up my gain? All right. Let's see. So today's episode is about collaboration. Um, I think it's a good episode because, you know, I just saw Pussy Riot like last week. That's why I didn't have a show. We didn't have a show. Um, yeah. And I'm looking for notes. Nope. There we go. So, what I think is interesting is that for a long. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I think I, I grew up in like the tail end of this era, but like for a long time, and I honestly probably for the most of history, it seems like music would be a more collaborative art form. I think nowadays you have a lot of solo artists, and then I I don't know. So like I guess I was sort of teasing out this idea in my head before the show of what's the difference between a band and a collaboration. You know.
I understand that question.
Say that again.
Said I understand that question.
Cool. At least one person does. Um yeah. So that's sort of where I'm at. I was thinking I made the Spotify playlist for the week. I put some iconic rock collaborations, and then I wanted to put some hip hop on there because, obviously, if you're going to put collaborations, if you're going to talk about collaborations, you need to talk about hip hop.
Yeah.
And I think that hip hop is interesting in the collaboration sphere, in that it almost seems like rappers just hang out with each other and they'll make a song, you know? Um, and so it'll be Ludacris featuring Eminem and whoever else was in the studio that day, right? And came
Yes.
up with a verse. But it's less frequent that you see bands like as they exist in hip hop, which they do. I mean, if you're gonna be like, oh, you got to play real, quote unquote, real instruments, for it to be a band. There's like the Roots, but like even if you want to eh, like I was thinking like Wu Tang and stuff like that. Like that's
Yeah.
a band. But I think in rock it's more common for there to be a band. I think after, especially from the '60s on, and probably into like maybe the 2000s, I think was probably what I would think is the heyday of the band, the rock band at least. Because prior to that, there were a lot of like names. But in the '60s, you started getting a lot of, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Who,
The Grateful Dead.
the Grateful Dead, right? Um, So I'm turning around so that this light is shining on me.
Instead of behind you.
Yeah,
It's like a halo.
it's like a halo. So the so yeah, what do you think?
I think that I agree. Hold on, let me turn my mic down. I feel like my mic's too loud. All right, is that any better?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I feel like the band definitely had its heyday in the era that you spoke of, because at the beginning of the 2000s, that was where technology, I feel, got to the point.
Uh-oh. Okay, so I guess either I'm frozen or Deuce is frozen. I guess we'll see in the playback of the episode. Um the Traveling Wilburys though are
Am I here? Am I?
you completely cut off, like you said two words and then cut off, and yeah. So hold on. Are you here now?
Yeah.
Oh, did you eat Domino's recently too? Oh, he can't hear me. Or can he? Maybe.
I don't know if the internet's working.
Oh yeah.
Can you see my pizza?
Hell yeah. Pepperoni. I love
Pepperoni and
pepperoni
mushroom.
pizza. Yeah. Mushrooms, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like the mushrooms they use in particular at Domino's, because they're just those white button mushrooms. They're just there for texture, you know? Like they don't really taste like anything, I feel like. But if you go to a fancy pizza place where the pizza costs like
I
$50,
agree.
they'll put portobello's on it. And you can feel like a fancy king eating pizza.
Yeah, they're just there.
They're just yeah. I don't know. Um how's your connection doing? Keeps freezing. So, one of the struggles of collaboration is when you're trying to do your podcast and the stupid internet isn't working. And we have such terrible infrastructure for that in our country. Like the internet in South Korea is like 5 times faster than any American internet. Um, and also you hear stuff about how inefficient our electrical grid is. We could streamline that sort of
I'm back.
stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I texted you because my connection just was.
You can hear me
I could hear you perfectly, but
Yeah.
I wasn't doing shit.
Yeah. Well, now you're like crystal clear.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've been doing a lot of military shit at the base, and it's been like scrambling the Wi-Fi the past week or so. So I don't know
Oh.
if that means anything.
Oh yeah, it would probably mean that you'll get cancer in 20 years.
Uh, it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna get cancer from what this thing or the other thing or whatever. I just know something's gonna kill me. And he was just like, well, I don't know if you should think about it like that. And I'm like, well, how else are you gonna think about it?
You got to be realistic about it. Everything causes cancer now.
Yeah.
Teflon, you eat too many eggs, too much cholesterol can give you cancer, being in the sun, using the wrong products. Like, it's fucking obnoxious.
Cholesterol is a bad collaboration. That's what I
Yes.
think.
Your heart and cholesterol, plus the veins, the triple threat as they call it.
Yeah.
Bad news bears.
Worst three pieces of all time.
It's almost like the trio I was a part of, and all we did was rap about cheeseburgers and trying to hook up with chicks. And no,
That's
no one's
fun.
gonna hear. No one's gonna hear that. It was like a rip off of the Fat Boys.
Oh. Well, yeah, so it's the collaboration episode. We're like 10 minutes in.
Did you want me to
I
try to say the thing I was saying
yeah,
when my internet cut out?
yeah, try saying that again.
I feel I'll keep it short because I don't know. So I feel like the technology got to a point in the early 2000s where it was more accessible for people to record music as solo artists versus relying on the whole band studio thing where you have to have a group and you have to go to a studio so somebody can record you because those limitations got, smaller and smaller until where we are today where you could have your own solo black metal project and
Hmm.
never play with another human being ever.
And don't even have to learn any instruments really.
Pretty much.
Like you can use virtual instruments for everything. Um
Still don't know how I
and
feel about that though. The virtual instruments. They're cool
I
for certain shit, like orchestra, or if you're trying to do like a brass ensemble. But with like guitar bass, I feel you should leave that to, you know, actual musicians and not just virtual shit.
yeah. I
Because then
mean,
we wouldn't have our spot to do our thing.
well, and that's fair. I think so. What I think is like we should just create whatever we want with the tools we have.
Fair enough.
Um,
I
but
agree.
I do. But like for instance, drum like the Apple GarageBand drum loops. I remember those first came out a while ago, and are very, very advanced. Were very, very advanced for like what they were. These
That's
like
what a lot of my
drum,
shit uses right now.
huh?
That's what a lot of my music is using right now because I'm using GarageBand version 10, and that's
I,
like when the loop thing with the live drummer thing just came out.
yeah. And I mean, I think that's fair. It's like algorithmically like generated, isn't it? So it's not
Yeah,
like you're just taking drum samples and playing along to them. It's like dynamic, isn't it?
yeah. There's different sliders that you can adjust. Um, so there's like for each individual drum set and drummer, it lists maybe six or seven names, and I guess it's like supposed to be a style or take on that particular style. I've been using the retro rock drum kit. I think
Hmm.
Logan is the name of the algorithm drummer, and you can adjust it to be. Um, you can quantize to the 16th, to the 8th. I mean, you can quantize to your heart's content,
Hmm.
really. Um, but you can adjust different levels of like toms that you wanted to use in a certain spot, or if you want the bass drum to be a certain speed, or if you want to follow another recording. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll use that so it can complement the piano or the bass parts, and it works pretty well. The snare and the bass drum slider works really cool. And then there's different options you could choose. You could choose to have either cymbals or toms or hi hat for specific parts if you're
You can also
programming.
switch out the drum kits.
Yes, which is really cool because it
I
also has
love
different drummers as well.
I do the Anders, the hard rock guy,
Yeah.
and then I use the seismic drum machine.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I've
and
used
it
that.
and it's just real like, well, you know what I like at the like
Yeah.
at this point. Like
I have been playing through
you know
the pre-production demos for my Obsidian necktie project.
say that again.
Um, well, first off, hi Michael, good to see you. And yes, Sam, I'm wearing the Riff Mountain shirt. Just all that. Sorry. Um, no, there's a project. Friend of mine, we just released a video for it recently on YouTube. Obsidian necktie, and it's like weird stoner disco metal dance shit. One track was described as Kraftwerk with a collaboration with Jim Morrison and Zach De La Roca. So
I,
Interesting shit.
right on.
I I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but that's a collaboration. My friend lives in South Carolina, and I'm in New Jersey, and we're doing it that way as well.
Yeah. Um,
What's up?
I know you sent me something.
Yeah, I'll send
And
you
I
that.
listened to it. And I don't remember anything about it because that's just what happens when people send me stuff to listen to.
I know how that feels though. Like how it is
Yeah.
to do that because I have a friend that sends me shit all the time. Like, hey, check this out. Tell me what you think, and I'll listen to it. And I'll be like, so what'd you think? And I'll be like, I liked it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Can't recall any specifics.
um so an interesting long distance, an early long distance collaboration that's pretty well known, and I put them on the Spotify list for this episode, is the Postal Service. Do you know their story?
I don't know their story, but I know a few of their songs quite well.
So the Postal Service, they were a long distance collaboration, hence their name. They would actually send stuff through the mail,
Oh wow.
uh, and like someone would like write a part and then send it off to the next person, and they would like write a part, and then it would get back to dude from Death Cab for Cutie. I forget what his name is.
Yep.
I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that was I don't know, I like that the Postal Service did that before, and they're well known and
Yeah.
were successful. They put out one album, but like that one album was pretty successful. um and they were doing the long distance collaboration thing before the internet was making it easy.
Yep.
um
I think that's the thing a lot of people forget about is that before the internet, people actually had to like do a lot more work when it came to recording their music long distance with people.
mhm.
It wasn't just as simple as, hey, let me email you a couple wave files. It was like, hey, I need to like get these reel to reel tapes mailed to you via like Federal Express.
Uh-huh. And with all that, you had to have the person that owned the studio, the person that could fund the production, the studio musicians, so many people. So has music gotten less collaborative in general?
I feel like it has.
Huh.
Maybe not in spite of itself, but because of how music progressed to such a point where it became an individual experience for some people. Like,
Mhm.
I know when I started writing and doing music with friends and stuff, I was like a control freak with everything that I brought. So for me, it makes sense for me to do solo shit because I'm so picky with shit. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like you get different results when you have different situations, like different groups of people that you play with. Because I could write a song and record it and do different parts a specific way. But if I took the skeleton of that song to a group of other people, it becomes a whole nother experience, you know?
Yeah. And I think I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to music. Like I think other mediums I am kind of a perfectionist, but I'm a really like loosey goosey musician. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm not loosey goosey in any of my artistic styles. But what was I gonna say about that? I think having other musicians around me, it kind of helps me rein in my tendencies,
I
because
know that
otherwise I
feeling.
feel like I can get I can get like too off into a weird tangent if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Um anyway,
Like, for example, For example, so there's a couple songs that I'm working on that I'm sending back forth with Pat from Pat and Mac, who we had on what I think are a couple episodes ago.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the demos started out with like a, because I got the electric piano module thing now, so I'm just using the shit out of it. And it started with like a bluesy kind of piano riff, and it had like clavichord and all this other stuff in it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and adjust it. And I got rid of the clavichord, but I went like full ham. So now there's like a fucking entire brass section, trombone, fucking trumpets, and marimba, and like all this shit I would never fucking use. And I'm just like, So I know what you mean, because like I go way too far with shit. I'll build up a whole arrangement, and then it'll be like, okay, but it's only a 2 minute pop song. Like we don't need
Hmm.
good vibrations here.
Yeah. But I mean, with that being said, like some of those classic albums that were really revolved around the vision of one person, like Pet Sounds, for example, or what's another one? Uh, like any of Daniel Johnston's stuff. Do you
Right.
know Daniel Johnston?
I'm familiar with who he was, but not super familiar with the music.
It's really strange. I guess you would call it outsider music.
Yeah, that's what I've heard before. Yeah.
Yeah. But he got like his like 15 minutes of fame on MTV because Kurt Cobain was wearing one of his albums on a shirt.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. Um so I don't know.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about collaborations, if there was any musical group or artist that you are a fan of that you could collaborate with, either for music or a pedal or both, who would it be?
Who would I collaborate with if I could collaborate with
Anyone,
um
dead or alive?
I think I'm trying to think who personality wise I feel like I would get along with. Um I don't know. I want to tell Greg Ginn to like just cut the Black Flag shit and start a new band with me. Uh and it'll be an awesome noise punk band that's unlike anything people have ever heard instead of,
Cool.
a band that started in 1976.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that like Black Flag isn't amazing, right? What is APC?
Perfect Circle with
A
Maynard
perfect
James
circle.
and James Eha. Josh Freese used to drum for them, but now it's Matt McJunkins, Jeff Friedel. Basically, it was like a super group with Billy Howardell and James Maynard Keenan, or Maynard James Keenan from Tool. That was how it started, and they're kind
Yeah.
of like the core. But yeah, the one dude from Smashing Pumpkins is in the group right now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, technically they started as a super group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about supergroups in the context of collaborations because I think that's like a very specific type of collaboration.
Yeah.
I've heard it argued. I don't know if I agree with it. I
Mm.
probably don't have enough evidence to make a really informed opinion about it, but I've heard that Cream was like one of the first like contemporary examples of a supergroup. And I don't even remember what the members were, what bands the members. I know that Eric Clapton was one of them.
Yeah, it was Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and I always forget the bass player's name.
Um,
But I'm pretty sure didn't Ginger
Jack
Baker
Bruce.
Jack Bruce, okay. I thought Ginger Baker played with the Allman Brothers band. I might be mistaken though.
We'll see.
Yeah. We're fact
Yeah.
checking.
Ginger Baker played with Cream, Hawkwind. Oh fuck yeah,
Oh,
Hawkwind.
okay.
Masters of Reality, Ginger Baker's Air Force, Alex Combs Blues Incorporated, Material, Atomic Rooster, BBM, Baker Griffiths Army, the Graham Bond Organization, and Blind Faith.
I'm looking up who
So,
the drummer was for the Allman Brothers band then, because now I feel like an asshole. Let's see.
oh, I mean, I don't know
Oh,
any better. I'm just googling it.
never mind. Well, no, I'm looking it up right now as well. Yeah, when because I know that the Allman Brothers band had they had two drummers when they started.
Oh,
Oh,
did
okay.
they?
The guy I'm thinking of is Butch Trucks, but apparently he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in 2017. So rest in peace, Butch Trucks. Yeah, that's.
Tomahawk. Okay, let's talk about Tomahawk.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
Tomahawk.
that's is that's Mike Patton, right?
Pretty sure, yeah. Mike Patton is a huge collaborator with a lot of different groups.
Oh yeah. Um. So, what about Tomahawk?
That's the
Because
question.
I haven't really listened to much Tomahawk. I wish if I had like any of my Arkansas friends on here right now, they could talk about Tomahawk.
Yeah, I'm
Um.
familiar with, but not very. Oh, wait a sec. What? The guitar player from the Jesus Lizard is in that group? I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Or was? Wait, let me see. Yeah, and it looks like they have. Okay, yeah. The original, I guess the original drummer for Helmet is in
Cool.
that band too. That's actually really cool. I gotta check that out again. All right.
I love Helmet. Helmet's a fantastic
Oh,
band.
I could talk about Helmet for a whole episode. Fucking Mike, or no, not why am I saying Mike Patton? Page Hamilton. Okay, so here's a quick question. Since we mentioned Helmet, how do you feel about Page Hamilton bringing the name back without any of the other original members?
So,
Because I know that was a hot topic of discussion when it happened. I mean, I personally think the albums they've come up with since getting back together are pretty decent, but
yeah. I mean, it would really like that's up to them to decide.
fair enough.
I think for me, I I feel like I don't ever want to overextend my welcome for any like musical project that I have.
I understand.
And so like I personally like I would never when I'm 40 go back to Alabama and be like draft, except it's just me and two other non-related people, um or whatever. But yeah, so I wouldn't do it. I think that depending on how much of a hand, what's his name again?
What, Page Hamilton?
Page Hamilton.
Yeah, he's the singer guitar player for Helmet.
Okay. See, I don't know people's names
I think
all the
he wrote
time.
most of the music, but I think the argument that a lot of people present is the sound of the original group with the way that the drummer played with Page Hamilton's guitar and the way that the bass player complemented them, like that they feel represented what Helmet was. I think that's kind of more the line of where I was trying to go with it because I've heard people say, "Oh, well, it's just the Page Hamilton project with the name Helmet because the other guys didn't want to come back." But
Hmm.
if they don't get along, then how would you expect people to collaborate? See, I brought it
Yeah.
back around. How would you expect people who don't get along to collaborate? I mean, look at what happened with the Police when they decided to get back together. There's videos of them in rehearsals with Stuart Copeland fucking cursing Sting off and calling him an asshole and all this other. So it's like, is it really worth it to make the musicians miserable and angry just so that you can have, you know, nostalgia? I guess.
I zoned out for part of that.
You're good. Here, let's
I,
address this comment.
okay, that's some grandpa music right there.
Accurate. Million Dollar Quartet. Yeah, I've never heard that before, but yeah, these four gentlemen were were comprised of this particular supergroup that we are addressing now.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't see
Um.
this one. I've never heard of this group either.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It
But
sounds like an after-school special, like super
Captain
good.
Beyond. I mean, from the description, it sounds like it would be one of those like proto metal bands. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, because Iron Butterfly and Steppenwolf are both kind of like proto metal in their own ways. You know, not so much as like Black. I feel like Black Sabbath was actually metal, but like there were bands that led up to Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's also an argument to be made for Led Zeppelin being heavy metal. Um, but
See the influence that Zeppelin had on heavy metal, but I don't know if I would call them heavy metal per se.
okay, see, that's
You know what
fair.
I mean? Because the
Yeah.
way that Bonham drummed definitely had an impact on heavy metal drummers because of the
Hmm.
power and the intensity, but also knowing when to use the dynamics and when to just pound the shit out of your drum kit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, one of my favorite drum intros of all time is when the levee breaks. Like that drum beat just fucking rules. Like you can't help but like feel cool like when you're listening to it.
I've heard a lot of songs that sampled that particular drum part.
Probably, yeah.
A lot of rap songs. I know that a Perfect Circle, I'm pretty sure, actually covered that song on their one album.
Oh, really?
It was decent hearing Maynard sing that song. Yeah, it's on their Emotive, I think is the name of the album. Emotive.
Okay.
It's like a cover album that they did, and I think the proceeds went to charity or something because it was like a album representing peace. Because if you look at the album cover, it's got like a decayed, falling apart peace sign on the cover.
Mhm.
It was interesting. There's some good covers on there.
Yeah. Cool. So they do a cover of "Gimme Gimme Gimme" by Black Flag that I really hate. Just
What's funny is that's one of the songs on the album that I do not like, but I also wasn't super familiar with the original song, so it makes perfect sense that I don't like it.
oh, it's like they slow it down to like a quarter of the speed,
Yep. Because I remember it being,
and it's supposed to be like
and I'm like, ugh, this sounds weird.
gimme, gimme, gimme. Need some more. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Don't ask what for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sitting here like a loaded gun. I'm waiting to go off.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not the way they did it, and I think
Yeah, I know. I know.
it's
Like
accurate.
I remember I was at I don't know. I had this friend who always hung out with like the preppy people that he went to school with, and we were over at their house, and they had a Perfect Circle DVD at
Oh, that
like
was
some
the
rich kids.
Emotion one with an A. Yeah, because there was a lot. It had their music videos and some remixes on there and shit.
Yeah, and we were sitting there. I think we were just stoned, and we were like watching it. And about halfway through the song, my friend Chris turns to me and he goes, "This is Black Flag," and I go, "What?" And then I like start listening to the words
This is awful.
and I'm like, "Oh my god, it is." You know? But
I gotta adjust my camera. Everything is crooked like this, so I'm like leaning this way to look more
oh,
up straight. So give me 1 second. I hate that. Well, I was also kind of rushing to get everything together. Late day at work.
oh, 13th Step was the first A Perfect Circle album I heard. I didn't know Emotive was a cover album.
13 Step was not the first. Mare de Gnomes was the first.
No, the first that Sam heard.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Sam. I was an elitist asshole gatekeeping you.
Get out of. I don't even like A Perfect Circle, to be completely honest.
It's
I don't.
okay. A Perfect Circle's very hate or love them. Like their new album they came out with, Eat the Elephant. I thought it was trash. So, and I still didn't put the fucking camera in the right spot. Oh my gosh.
So yeah. So where is the collaboration going then? If like we've kind of passed the heyday of bands, and we've moved into this space where you can be your producer and your drummer and your bass player and your
Yes.
songwriter and your vocalist, and like one person can do all of that, right? Like I could make a song if I were a talented individual. I could make a song on my computer right after this. um
You are a talented individual.
oh,
You're
thanks.
talented in the real world sense, where you can do stuff that makes money and inspires people
What
and
makes
creates.
money?
Hear
What
me
do
out.
I do that makes
Hear
money?
me out. Hear me out. Okay. You make things that people can exchange with monetary goods to obtain.
Oh, that reminds me. 30% off on demonicmachines.com with the code moving, because I'm moving to Portland. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put that in a banner right now.
Yes, I was about to suggest that.
30% off at,
You heard
but
it here first, it's an exclusive. Use the
yeah,
code moving for 30% off at
the
demonicmachines.com.
yeah, and this sale will be going on until the end of September because I'm just trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff that I have because I'm moving. Uh, with code moving. Yeah.
Everybody should buy stuff.
Everybody should buy stuff.
Buy lots of things.
Buy the things. Buy the things. Buy them with money.
Everybody
I
buy.
saw someone advocating for like a barter economy on like TikTok or something, and I was like,
Hmm.
no.
I mean, it would definitely make certain people a lot more elevated in their power because they have legitimate things people need. For me, it would just be like, I'll sing music to you for like $50, please.
Yeah, I mean, but things like that are valuable to like, and that's, I don't know. That's like I'm finally like fine. I read that and forgot what I was saying. Finally ordered me a divine.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Cool. Is
Thank you,
that
Dead Garage.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoy it when you receive it. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. Collaborations, right? What are some of your favorite collaborations, Deuce? If you could collaborate with anybody, who would you collaborate with?
I'd have to say Lou Reed, just
Okay.
because it would definitely be something I wouldn't expect.
Okay.
If it were a couple years ago, I probably would have said like someone from a black metal band or someone from a death metal band, like maybe Chris Barnes. But I know everybody hates Chris Barnes because he talks about smoking weed and killing people. So, I mean, a lot of us do that now, but he was doing it before everybody else felt the same way. Uh,
Was he in Cannibal Corpse?
yes, he was the
Okay.
original vocalist for Cannibal Corpse up until the Bleeding, and then after that, he ended up quitting and starting 6 Feet Under, which I have a 6 Feet Under tattoo on my hand. Hence, how he would
Oh,
have
right
been
on.
the guy that I would have been like, "Hey, what's up, Chris?"
Let's do a song together, Chris. It's gonna be weed metal. Ooh.
He loves weed. That's like all he talks about. That and killing people. It's really fucking confusing. Because he'll be like, "Oh
That's
yeah, let's smoke some weed and chill," and then it's like the next song, he's like, "I'm gonna fucking rip your head off and kill you." It's like I'm pretty sure I'd
that's
be dead already.
that part of like metal, like certain brands of extreme metal. And I guess it's really death metal, like all of that, like really visceral kind of stuff. I don't know. Like I'm a really visceral writer, and maybe I just can't. I can't handle what I dish out.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm just like I'm too metal for metal.
Uh,
Um,
I feel like I feel like
I'm just
metal.
kidding.
No, but in general, though, I feel like metal is one of those things where it definitely, in my opinion, it appeals to you, or at least it appealed to me more when I was younger. And now that I'm getting older and I'm like fucking realizing I can't just like run around threatening to kick the shit out of people all the time anymore and like drink Monster energy drinks and hang out at the mall. I'm just like, oh, there's more to life than just being angry and threatening people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Homer, that would be cool to see what you and Jack White whip up.
Yeah, that would be. Well, let's see. Normal fuzz or octave fuzz? I don't know. Do you want
Good
to
question.
sound? Do you want to sound like normal fuzz, or do you want to
Normal
sound
or
octave
octave?
fuzzy?
I guess the question would be, do you want
I
Hendrix or
think.
Pink Floyd?
Say that again.
Would you like Hendrix or would you like Pink Floyd? I guess that would be the call for octave versus normal. Because
Yeah,
didn't Hendrix use an Octavia?
yeah. Hendrix also used a fuzz face, so
Fair enough.
people
Yeah.
have described the regular fuzz as being just like a muff sort of sound. And then the octave fuzz is just all octave fuzzes are noisy, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like the when that Lizard Queen came out from JHS, so many people were complaining like, "Oh, this thing is so noisy, it's
The
broken or
board is
whatever."
destroyed. I don't know what happened. It's not clean and pristine with its own built-in noise gate.
Yeah, it's like it's using a technology that's, from the 60s, right? Like creating the
Yeah.
octave circuit. Oh, you made a latte for Jack White. So what kind of latte was it? Was it just a regular latte, or was it like soy latte, coconut milk latte? Uh, was it like a pumpkin?
Pretentious milk latte.
Say that again.
I said a pretentious milk latte, where it
A
was like super
pretentious milk
fancy.
latte.
Yeah, it's like
I would like my latte made with exquisitely milked goat cheese milk from rich people land.
That would be awesome to
that would be
collaborate with
cool.
Wata from Boris. I also, if you're, what is my most brutal distortion? Uh-oh,
That's a
I'm
good
getting
question.
bombarded with questions. Probably I don't know. All of them are brutal. I'm just brutal. I'm a brutal engineer. Um, so probably the heaviest distortion I make, like with just the fullest like bottom end, it just like it's gonna just mow you over, is the Dragonaut. If you want a rat that doesn't fuck around, get the Fishbones. And then if you want like a straight up, like just straightforward distortion, then get the God's Eye V2. Um, and the God's Eye has everything you need in uh one pedal. I mean, but I don't know. What is my most brutal distortion? I mean, the Dragonaut is probably my most brutal distortion. Metal players tend to like that. Um, you heard it here first.
I froze.
No, you're moving. I use oat milk in my. No, it's fine if you use oat milk. Like I would even say that this is just my personal feelings. Is that being vegan is a generally more can generally be the more ethical approach to food. However, that is not applicable in all circumstances, and capitalism has kind of screwed that up. But if you use oat milk in your coffee, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sitting here. I'm not gonna call you a soy boy or whatever, you
No,
know.
no, we were just joking around about the pretentious milk coffee. I just meant because Jack White probably makes like fucking way more money than any of us in this chat.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
No. Like.
about the vegan thing, I agree. I tried to be vegan, but like I'm lazy and like all the shit that I would buy was like heavily processed. So unless you're like doing a lot of the meal prep yourself from scratch, then a lot of the vegan like prepared meals and foods and stuff are very very high in sodium and really
Uh huh.
processed. So if you are going to do it, be prepared to put in the work to make your food. That way,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Otherwise you're just going to end up like skinny fat like I did at one point because I was just eating all this heavily processed stuff. And I think that's also part of the problem why some people don't want to even try being vegan because they don't factor in the whole you need to prepare your own shit so you know what's in it food stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to judge anybody for
Oh
like their
no,
food choices.
people can do whatever
Um
they want. I mean, we all have free will, right? Like,
yeah.
Here we are.
yeah.
I like
Hmm,
I am mostly vegan
yeah,
just because it's easy to do in California.
I understand that. Yeah, out here it's a little bit more of a
Yeah.
specialized type of thing.
Oh, I remember growing up in the South telling my mom I wanted to be vegetarian and she like yelled at me and was like, "How are you going to get your iron
Magnesium,
and like protein
protein.
and
Yep.
I'm
Protein's a
just
big one.
yeah, and it's like you other things have protein, you know?
There's alternative sources for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people, I think, the way that the education system is set up and how it was, is it very strongly stressed certain types of protein, like from meat and things like that. But now that there's more information and it's more easily available, you can find what other things have protein and you could try to make the exact same amount of protein you would get from one thing, but with a different dish. It's just, again,
Hmm.
you have to put in the work to make your food, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to do that.
There's a food truck right next to my apartment building that has like burgers and fries and it's vegan. It's all like Beyond Burgers and like I don't know, chicken tenders and like but fake chicken tenders.
Yeah.
So it's not healthy. Like I'm not eating like healthy by being vegan, you know. I'm eating like burgers and shit. Um but yeah, so we got way off topic talking about being vegan.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
being
know how
vegan's a collaboration. You're
being vegan
collaborating with
is
the world.
being you know who I think is vegan maybe, but
So,
I'm don't quote me on this, Crass. And they're also on the this week's Spotify playlist.
I could
Um
definitely see that.
yeah. Because Crass was an anarchist collective, and they were actually part of a collective with. A lot of people don't know that Chumbawamba was part of the same collective as Crass.
Yep.
Um. Anyway, so we've got like 10 minutes left. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go through what I've put on the list for the week.
And then we'll pick mine together.
Yeah, and then yeah, you can pick yours, and I'll put them on the list. So I've got Bata Motel by Crass, Power by Sick Brain and Pussy Riot. Flashlight by Parliament. Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. By Wu-Tang Clan, obviously. Bury Me in Smoke by Down, a super group we didn't get to talk about.
You stole one of my choices.
Say that again.
Said you stole one of my choices, but it's all good. Down's good.
Yeah, Machado by Brujeria. Such Great Heights by the Postal Service. Virus by Deltron 3030, which is a collaboration between Del the Funky Homo Sapien and Dan the Automator, who was the DJ in the Gorillaz. And then Fetch the Water by Minute Flag, which is Black Flag and Minutemen. Yeah, so what do you want to add?
Let me see, because I'm scrolling through to see what I had on here. There's a couple different things. I'm not sure. What's the criteria for collaboration? Like not like a band, but like a group or an artist working with another artist or group, would you say?
Sure. I mean, I think if there's a comma in the like artist listing, maybe then that maybe counts. So if
Fair
there's
enough.
like two people, I don't know.
How
Like
about this? Okay, so the first pick that I'm gonna have. Oh, I need to make sure it's the right one. Okay, that's the one. Okay, so the Berserker, the song is Forever. It's like grind, gabber, hardcore techno, death metal. But this particular album was a collaboration between several different local artists in Australia. The main guy who came up with like the basic arrangements, and then there was like 5, 6 guitar players that came and went through the making of the first album, and several vocalists and bass players and shit. So it was like a big collaborative album. This particular song was one of the first exposures I had to it, but it's got like weird like samples from like old movies and like informative shit they used to play back in the 40s and shit like that. Um,
I'm trying to find it.
it might not be on there, and if it's not, then that's perfectly fine. We could move on to something that might be on there.
Yeah, let's move on.
It
We'll come back to it if
It's
if
okay. I figured that it would. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be on there. I gotta think of shit that might actually be on there. All right. So how about Blacklight Burns? You want to see if they're on there? We'll do it this way. We'll check with the artist and see what's on there, and then I'll
Yep,
pick.
they're on here.
All right. So the song. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do the song "Stop a Bullet." It should be on the album "Cruel Melody."
Found it.
So Blacklight Burns was kind of a supergroup between Wes Borland, formerly of, at the time, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Obviously he's back. And then Danny Lohner, who was in Nine Inch Nails. I think Charlie Clouser worked on this as well. Josh Freese played drums. It was like a big studio project. And then Wes put together a live band, which then worked on the next album like a band. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I forgot to prepare this ahead of time, so I apologize.
Oh, you're good. I was having trouble with my computer. That's why I wasn't talking.
Oh no, I understand that. Trust
Trust me. Oh.
me.
So you wanna?
I am.
Oh, you're cutting off.
We'll see. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. I said Buckethead.
Buckethead.
The album
Yeah.
Giant Robot. Can you
Yep, I got it.
okay.
Cool. From Giant Robot.
Pull up the album Giant Robot. Yes.
Yeah. And which song?
Onions Unleashed.
Onions Unleashed. Okay.
It has Bill Moseley from Texas
Who is
Chainsaw
Bill
Massacre 2.
Moseley? For our, because I totally know who that is.
Bill Moseley played Chop Top in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Okay.
But he does vocals on this song.
Right on. Cool.
It's super weird, but it's fucking. I remember being younger when I first discovered Buckethead and hearing this song. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's just so weird. Let's.
Have you ever seen Buckethead live?
I've seen plenty of videos, but I've never had the pleasure of seeing him live in person.
I was at a festival and he just happened to be at the same festival, and so I checked him out, and it was I just sat in the back and smoked weed the whole time,
Yeah.
and he just jammed on his guitar like with a
was
bucket
it
on his
just
head.
him?
No, he had a band.
Oh, okay.
But like, I mean, he was just jamming on his guitar.
Oh yeah.
Like he had a
that's all his
backing
shows are.
band. Huh?
That's all his shows are. He just fucking has
Yeah.
music playing in the background and he fucking shreds the whole time.
Mhm.
Or he'll have like a bassist and a drummer and just fucking shred the whole time.
Mhm.
Um,
You know, I heard, and I cannot find the music, but I heard that allegedly Buckethead did the theme for the Power Rangers Gritty reboot that came out in like 2016.
I heard something about him being involved with the Power Rangers theme, but I always thought it was the first one.
I mean, that's the one that I would think it would be,
Yeah.
you know. But whatever, you know. I mean, maybe the producers of the Gritty reboot were like, "What's a guitarist that captures the energy of the original Power Rangers theme?" And then someone was like, "Buckethead."
Did you know that Buckethead worked on John Carpenter's Ghosts from Mars album soundtrack?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's you might not be able to tell. They kind of had him tone his shit down for it. Let me see. So what? I have 2 songs now.
I don't know.
We'll go. with
Yeah,
that.
you got 2.
So that means I have 3 more to pick. All right. Well, let's go to Danny Elfman, and we will pick the song from his album Big Mess. The song is called Insects.
Okay.
It's a re-recording of the Oingo Boingo original that he wrote, but with an all-star lineup. Like this whole album, he had a bunch of guest musicians on.
Okay, what's it called again?
The album or the song?
Either.
Good night, Mike. The album is called Big Mess.
Big Mass.
Mess. Like
Mess.
a messy room. Yeah, I say shit
Okay.
with an A because I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
Insects.
Insects.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so that's 3. We could go to. You know what? I'm gonna do it. David Bowie. Go to his album Black Star.
That's a good album.
This album was an amazing collaboration between David Bowie and the band that he put together, which has a lot of very talented musicians, and they weren't his typical backing band, so I consider this album a little bit more of a collaboration.
Okay.
We could go with.
God, that guy put out so many albums.
I know, it's crazy.
I was like, I'm just gonna scroll through his discography. I'll find it. Like, never mind. And
Trust
there's like
me, I have the same problem.
4 editions of every album. What's the song?
The song I was gonna ask you, should we do the song Black Star, but that's almost 10 minutes long, or should we show Lazarus instead?
Lazarus.
We'll do Lazarus then. Have you ever
Okay.
heard of the Dazzling Killmen?
Uh-uh.
They were a Steve Albini produced group.
Okay.
I was gonna say them, but I don't know if that would be a collaboration or not.
What is a collaboration? Dazzling Killmen?
Yeah, Dazzling Killmen.
Okay.
Album should be Face of Collapse.
Yep.
I think the song is Painless One.
Yep.
I was just double checking. And that
Boom.
should be 4, right?
That is 5.
Is that 5? Okay, cool. Oh wait,
Yeah.
the Berserker didn't work though, right?
Yeah, the Berserker didn't work.
So, we could do that. People can Google it. Works for me. If that works for you,
Yeah, it works for me.
all right, we can do that then.
So this episode kind of, I don't know, kind
It
of
was certainly an
petered
episode.
out a little bit.
It was
Say that
certainly
again?
It was certainly another episode.
It was certainly another episode, episode 20, in fact.
Hey, they can't all be zingers.
Yeah, they can't all be zingers. We should have guests. So,
Yeah, I was actually gonna say what we could try to do is we could try to individually reach out to people we might be interested in, or we could see if anybody that watches the show would like to be a guest. Like that one episode when I was running late.
yeah, we could. Well, so how about y'all just comment on this video or comment, I don't know, message me on Instagram or something and
Or
let
the
us
Demonic
know.
Machines live Instagram that we just
Oh yeah, we just started a Demonic Machines Live Instagram. It's at Demonic Machines Live.
yeah, so we both have the ability to see messages or comments there. So if there's anything you want to ask us, it'll be easier. Just contact us on Demonic Machines Live on our Instagram. That's the at for it. But yeah, as usual, we appreciate everybody that watches. We appreciate anyone that's interested in seeing what we do, what we talk about, watching the gear show that talks about anything but gear sometimes. I mean, it's like we're like the Seinfeld of gear podcasts. It's like every episode's about nothing, but we end up talking about something, and people enjoy it. Hopefully,
Exactly. Exactly.
the Seinfeld of gear podcasts. We got to get a shirt that says that.
The podcast about nothing.
Yeah,
I can get behind that.
that would be fucking awesome. And I'd wear it too. It'd be like, "This is my podcast shirt" on the front, and then the back, Demonic Machines Live, the podcast about nothing.
Nice. Yeah. I
It's
could
like Seinfeld minus Jerry.
yeah, which is better. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Depends.
what's the deal with that? We're at time, so I'm gonna play the outro and end the broadcast.
Sounds good.
Ah, crap.